3, 2, 1. We are live. Okay. Hello again and good evening, everyone. We are having our online meetup series with Techfugees Lebanon. Today, we are having a special guest with us, Alexandra Kodjabachi. She is the founder.
There.
Hello, Alexandra. Alexandra is the founder and CEO of PersEd. She is a trainer and coach. Hello again, Alexandra, and I will let you talk more about your work with PersEd.
First of all, thank you, Harut, for having me tonight, and thank you for the initiative that you have been working on for the past few weeks, and for the online meetups that have been organized through Techfugees Lebanon. It's very important, the work that you do, in order to promote a more digital kind of approach to coaching, to meeting, to learning, to experiencing a sense of community, because that's also the power of these online meetups. Hello, Nawar. Glad you ended up making it. And so to tell you a bit more about PersEd and what I do, PersEd is a training, coaching, and consulting enterprise for personal education and 21st century learning. So what we do through PersEd is that we equip the young generation of today with the skills that they need, the knowledge that they need, the know-how, the attitudes, the mindset that will allow them to navigate the 21st century in the most effective, efficient, and powerful kind of way. And as we say at PersEd, the purpose of you being and doing the things that you do is to be who you are and all you can become. And so our motto and our mission is to empower you, to empower the young generation of today to be who you are and all you can possibly become. And that is the beauty of the century that we're living in, because we have so many opportunities out there for us. And we just need to learn, how to think, how to navigate through this in order to make the best out of our experiences. That's why we organize workshops, we do coaching, there are masterminds, we do public speaking, and everything that we do, all the activities, all the services, all the projects, all of them, they have this one purpose: to empower you to be who you are and all you can become. So that would be PersEd in a nutshell. We also have a blog. We have online spaces to allow for the inspiration and the information to flow. And I'm looking forward to this episode with you, Nawar, and with Harut, who disappeared.
First of all, just let me thank you so much for being here with us today. And I'm sorry for being late, but you know that we are here facing always some challenges, and we know how to control it in the end. Let me welcome all the people that are with us today. Just want to talk about what we are going through tonight for this session. We are going through three main phases, starting with we will talk about positive mindset, importance of self-branding, and how to use technical tools to communicate. So let's make a short introduction with you, Alexandra, to tell us about or more about communications in general.
Okay, so communication is a very, very big world. So when you say communication, you can mean 1,000 different things. Communication is, first of all, communicating with yourself. So you need to know how to talk with yourself. And that is very important. And this is why mindset is crucial in that context. Communication is also one-on-one communication. So communicating with another person. It could be in person, so offline. It could be online, so digital, which is something that we have been exploring a lot in the past few weeks. Communication could be one-to-many. And then we would have public speaking, we could have facilitation and all of that. So this is if we want to divide communication with regards to the audience and to the people whom we are talking to. And knowing who you are talking to when it comes to communication is very important. And then we can consider communication from the perspective of the tools that we are using. There's the in-person, there is the stage sometimes, We have now a recent mode of communication, which is Zoom and StreamYard and the Facebook Live and all of these things. And it sort of disrupts how we consider communication, because we live it, we experience it in a way, and when we move online, there are certain things that we need to pay attention. Perhaps we dig deeper into that in the second or the third part of the conversation today. And when we talk about communication, we often talk about all of the things related to public spaces, digital spaces, and all of that. And it's also very important because communication doesn't need to be live. It could also be deferred. So when I'm writing something online, this is called communication. When I post something on social media, this is called communication. When I have a website or a platform that talks more about me, this is also a type of communication. The work that I do ultimately communicates the kind of person that I am. So communication cannot really be limited to this one single type of definition, because it's so rich in possibilities. And before talking about the technical aspects and the personal branding, as you said at the beginning, Nawar, you're absolutely right. Mindset is key. Because if we approach this transition, if we approach communication, be it offline or online, digital, COVIDian, non-COVIDian, the main aspect behind the success of any kind of endeavor is how we think about it, is the mindset that we have and the mindset that we nurture facing a specific challenge or within a specific context. I don't know, should we dive in the mindset?
Yes, we can go through the mindset because we talked about it before. Today's maybe ago. We talked about how to embrace a growth mindset and why it is so important in light of the current situation and challenges.
So growth mindset is, I love this expression. So growth mindset. Mindset is related to the mind, so it's how you think. And growth mindset is opposed to fixed mindset. So fixed mindset is fixed. This is how I do things. I've done the same thing for the past 10 years. This is how things are supposed to be. And that is a huge obstacle for individuals, for companies, for schools, for universities, for countries. You cannot be stuck in a way of thinking, in a way of doing things, when everything around you is pushing you in the other direction. So growth mindset is the acceptance, the ability to grow out of a practice, grow out of a way of doing things, and embrace the new, embrace the possible, embrace the possibility of failing and failing again and learning from that failure, embracing the feedback that we can get from others, embracing the difficulty and the challenge that we are facing. And lately, I've been thinking a lot about how we perceive COVID-19 and the crisis and the lockdown and everything around COVID-19, because it's so well defined. It's a virus that has that became a pandemic and that is forcing us to stay at home in a state of self quarantine or in a state of lockdown. But we can also see it in a different way. It doesn't need to be what I have just described. So instead of seeing COVID-19 as this experience that is locking us down, we can embrace the sea of curiosity rather than the sea of COVID and coronavirus. And this is an opportunity. I've seen so many individuals on their LinkedIn profiles, on their social media, embracing new challenges, taking online courses, doing research. And that is absolutely wonderful, because perhaps before they did not have the time to engage in all these activities, but now that they do, there's a sense of curiosity. Oh, I want to know about this. I've been wanting to maybe take that course for the past few weeks or for the past few years, but I did not have the time. So curiosity is very important. And if we're not curious, if we don't ask ourselves, okay, how can I do that? How can I improve? This how question that drives us to dig deeper and deeper and deeper, we're not going to be able to adapt. And for instance, there was a problem with the electricity and you could not be here at 9 p.m. Do you panic? No, you don't. You just join in and we continue the conversation as if nothing has happened. Why? Because we adapt. And this is the power of adaptability. Now, if we want to dig a bit deeper, other than curiosity, there's an O in COVID, and it's O of opportunity. So this space that we are inhabiting is not just a prison, it's a space of opportunity. Remote working, digital meetings, some people can find solutions to the problems. In situations of crisis, right after that, there usually is an outburst in innovation and solution. Why? Because we have a problem, we feel it, we sense it, it touches us, and this is the driver for us to find solutions to the problems that we are facing. So in fact, this disaster is an opportunity for us to fight the challenge, to fight the difficulty, and actually come out of it much stronger, with possibly an innovation, a solution, an entrepreneurial endeavor. Anything is possible if first we get the mindset, and second, we go and pursue the action. When we think about COVID, we think about a virus. I think about volunteering. V is not for virus, V is for volunteering. I had the most amazing encounters in the past few weeks with initiatives like Techfugees Lebanon, like Young Sustainable Impact Global, like Injaz, like Pitchworthy, and they are doing amazing work. And I worked with them and I enjoyed every moment. I met people who are extremely interesting. We were in contact. It's enriching both for you as an individual and for the people around you as a community. Because if there's something that we realized is, and especially in the way the virus has spread like wildfire around the world, is that this hyperconnectivity makes us vulnerable. But in the same time, this hyperconnectivity makes us capable of supporting each other in ways we have never thought possible. And it's that hyperconnectivity that allows us to engage in the community, to be stronger together, to help, to support, to get help, to offer it. And all of this sense of community, of us supporting each other, to be able to find solutions related to opportunity, to be able to learn more, the C of curiosity. This is something that is so. So we have a C of curiosity, we have an O of opportunity, we have a V for volunteering, and volunteering can open up a lot of doors for you, even on the professional level. And then what do we have? COVID, we have the I. I is not for illness, I is for intention. And intention is something that is very important when it comes to mindset. So mindset is the way you think about certain things. And either you choose to go with the flow and whatever happens, happens, or you can choose to set out an intention, a purpose, a goal, an objective. In 2 weeks, I will have learned this and this and that. For the next 3 weeks, I'm going to apply to X amount of job opportunities. For the next month, I will be taking at least one online course on Coursera or EDX or any kind of platform. So when you set out an intention, when you set out a goal, a purpose, and you want to achieve it, this completely transforms the way you think about a situation. And all of a sudden, the situation is not happening to you, but it's happening for you, because you are the active creator of the opportunities that you are in. And that completely transforms your relationship with your contacts, with your house, which looks like a prison in a lockdown. It completely transforms your relationship with the circumstances. That these circumstances are weighing, they are overwhelming, yes, but we can choose also to see them from a different perspective. And once you set that intention, it completely transforms the way you think about it. So what do we have left? We have a D. D usually is for disease, so coronavirus disease. But the D in this case should not be a D for disease, it should be a D for determination. Because once you set out a goal, once you set out an objective, a purpose, an intention, you have to follow up with action. And you need to be determined enough to take action for what matters to you. And to take action for the things that you need to do in order to achieve your goals that you're doing. So perhaps we feel that we went a bit far from the idea of communication, but this is directly related to it, and I'm going to see how. But first of all, we need to make a choice. Either we're going to see COVID-19 as a disaster that made us lose our job, that made us lose our our work, our time, our sanity, our freedom, or we can see it as something else. Now, I'm not saying we need to be delusional and think that this is, oh, we live in the perfect world and everything is good and everything is positive and it's amazing. No, it's not. We're living in a very hard condition, especially in Lebanon. There are like a million problems that surround us, and we need to acknowledge that. We need to acknowledge that there's a problem, that there's a challenge. But in the same time, we cannot be overwhelmed by this problem, by this challenge, to the point of sitting down and doing nothing and, okay, the world's going to end. No, the world's not going to end. You choose whether you are going to take things into account, and you choose the way in which you are going to approach all of these elements. So curiosity, opportunity, volunteering, intention, determination, and all of that, you do it times 19. So if COVID was COVID 2001 times 1, if it was 2050, should be times 50. So you got the point, I guess, by now. And all of that,
yes, exactly,
is words. It's wordplay, but it's not a game. We're playing with words, but it's not a game. It's our life.
Exactly. I just want to mention that to the followers or our audience, please prepare your questions, and you can put them or comment on our session here in the comments box, so we can talk about it and ask Alexandra directly to answer them in the end of our session. Now we talked about the mindset in general and how to motivate your positive mindset. So now we are going to another phase, or the second phase, which is about importance of self-branding. Alexandra, let me just say that I prefer to talk about self-branding by using social media, especially nowadays, because we can't move, we can't go out, we can't meet people, or increasing or building our network. So what do you think about digital self-branding?
I think that if you don't do digital self-branding, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities, like a lot of opportunities. The world is changing. In 10 years, I don't think we really can fathom or imagine how the world will look exactly in 10 years, and how work can be different, how even learning can be different within 10 years. So digital branding, having a digital space, is, I would compare it like real estate. So a lot of people go into real estate because it makes a lot of money. I'm being very, very blunt. What is real estate? Is investing in an asset that allows you to have extra income. And your digital space is like a house. You are renting it, or you are selling it, or this is your space, and you use it as an asset, and this is the asset that is going to allow you to get income. And it works whether you are an employee, whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are a student, because it's your digital footprint. It's who you are online. And the first thing, if I meet someone, or I have a meeting or a networking event and I need to talk to someone, what's the first thing that I would do? I would Google their name. And the first thing that I will get is a series of social media profiles, their LinkedIn, possibly, their own website, if they have one, other social media, if they're artists, definitely the Instagram would show. If they're journalists, possibly Twitter would show. So whatever the platform, that we also need to be mindful about the platforms that we choose, it's very important for us to have that digital space, which is ours, the investment, but in a digital virtual world. And that would allow us to find the jobs that we want, to find the clients that we want, to opportunities that we need. That's very important. And divided into roughly 2 categories. It's not necessarily these categories, because there's a third element, which is content. But I would say the 2 categories would be you and the people. So branding would not function if you do not exist, thus the importance of having platforms. And branding does not function if there's not an audience that can see what you're posting. Because let's say you live in an island, you can have the best voice in the world and sing 24/7, but nobody can listen to you, and they never know that you have the talent. So it's like singing on an island and nobody even knows that you exist. So it doesn't make any sense. And that's why one needs to invest in these two categories. So you as a person, which encompasses how you communicate, so the posts, and what you did, a review of your actions, which is a direct reflection on what we have said in the context of the mindset. So if I have a growth mindset and I'm continuously doing and volunteering and setting intentions and taking courses and developing my potential, then directly this is going to show on my social profile, on my online virtual space, if I communicate about it, and I should communicate about it. And so when that happens, your mindset is directly affecting your actions. Your actions are directly affecting your communication. And this is how you showcase who you are and what you do online. Now, there's another element, which is as I said, the people who are listening to you singing on your island, and this is called network. So it's very, very important to nurture your network. You meet someone at a conference, connect with them. You have teachers at university, talk to them, add them on your social profile, ask them if they know someone who might be beneficial for you to talk to, ask questions, interviews, interact with the people who are within your network. Try as much as possible to expand that network through one-on-one meetings, through phone calls, conferences, digital conferences. A lot of them are happening today. And given the circumstances now, you realize that people are much more open to these kind of things. They are open to support because we're all suffering from this. And this unites us. So people are even more open to these kind of new collaborations or new connections and all of that. So connect. And not in a superficial kind of way. Not, I'm just going to add someone. There's this genuine connection. And the more we go digital, because the further we are apart, the more genuine the connection has to be, because we cannot show it otherwise. And it shows when a person is genuinely concerned about another person, or they're just trying to find connections to improve the network without an intention. So it's very important to grow your network, but to be mindful about how you are growing your network and to genuinely care about the people who are in that network. Because authenticity at the end of the day is going to make a huge difference. If you're not speaking with your own voice, you're preaching to the wrong choir, you're singing the wrong songs, or you're singing in front of the wrong audience. So your voice has to be aligned with the voice of the people who are around you, and also with the way they should be listening to you, or the way they are listening to your beautiful voice, so that this island would stop being an island and would actually be a dot that is connected to many other dots. And so from that sense, there's this combination of personal presence and network growth that combine together alongside the actions that you take that project the mindset that you have. This is a recipe. This is an ecosystem for success. This is an ecosystem for growth. It will not give results tomorrow morning. It might not even give results at the end of the year, but it will yield results incrementally, because this is how it works. It doesn't work. It's not a one-night success. It's not success on a fortnight. You're not going to find yourself, oh my God, I have this really amazing opportunity in 4 days. It's not going to happen. It takes time. It takes investment to think carefully about what you're going to write, to engage in experiences that are going to enrich you, and that would also work as a proof for others that you're the kind of person who's always seeking to evolve and make progress. And this impression is priceless, because if there's one superpower that people need to have in the 21st century, it's the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. It's lifelong learning, because things are going to change so fast. And the tools that we are using today will not be the tools that we are using 5 years from, that we will be using 5 years from now. The same way that the tools that we are using today, like StreamYard and Zoom and all of that, they were not the tools that we were using 5 years ago. And we need to constantly adapt and readapt to the different circumstances. That's why we need to, and learning is like a muscle. You know, you go to the gym, you lift weights, you practice, you do cardio, because it's important for your health. Well, guess what? Learning is important for your health, for the health of the brain. So the more you learn, the more you can learn. And the more you do, the more you can do. And that's the link between how you think, what you do, and then what you show, and people see that you do.
I just want to say that I totally agree with you, because you know that my background is from Aleppo City, and I was there once that crisis has begun at that time. So we lost the chance to complete our educations, and we spent a lot of time waiting for normal to back as what it is. So we spent maybe 10 years, and now I can see the differences between the technological tools now and before. It cost only 10 years. So like what you said, we don't know where we are going to for the next 10 years. So we need to take an action right now. Okay.
Can I interrupt you for a second and we switch places? Because what you said, I love what you said. So you were in Aleppo, and then 10 years ago, we did not have the same things that we have now. But I want to ask you one question. If there's one attitude or one mindset that has, or one definition or one approach to mindset that has helped you get through all these challenges and difficulties to be who you are today, what would that word be?
I start thinking about that I want to complete my education, whatever happens and what it costs. So I moved to Lebanon, where I am now, and complete my study with Spark, Spark also, and I became a Spark alumni member and board of members for now. So someone is asking about the importance of volunteering. This is what it cost Abdullah, maybe. When you became a volunteer, you build up a network around you, so you can brand yourself in that way, even if it's for free, and you can spend lots of time without getting any paid job for that. But you can build a network, and step by step, you can find yourself doing something that paid. So here we are.
So I want to thank you for that, because what you said that you saw an opportunity to travel. So this is the O of opportunity. You wanted to finish your education, so this is the D of determination. You wanted to finish something, so that's an intention, so that's the I of intention. You went and became Spark alumni, so that's volunteering, and you volunteered before you actually got your opportunity. And then because you finished your education and went on to another country, that's the C of curiosity, because you wanted to see, okay, what else can I do? Where else can I be? How else can I act? And so these 5 letters that led you to your current experience and that helped you develop all the things that you have and then have your online presence, and all of it, this is connected. All of these things are connected. And I think this is a perfect example that anyone might give in a current context.
Yes, exactly. So let's move now, because I think we don't have enough time to go through details more than that. I know we spoke about it before, that communication is a huge topic to talk about, and we need to go through details, so we need more than one session to talk about it. So let's move now for the final phase, which is about how to connect, how to communicate by using the technical tools. If we want to be more specific or go through more details in this part, especially, we are talking about how to use technical tools to communicate for remote work, or to get the remote work, especially nowadays, studying online, or for entrepreneurs. Also, just like me, I'm a founder for a small business, and the first thing that I faced was about, what should I do now? I can go, I can deliver my products, I can get my products, and so on. So what do you think, Alexandra, based on your experience, of course?
I'm going to try to be as concise as I can. So perhaps I would share with you a presentation so that we can have less talking, less discussion, and more information. So I will be sharing my screen with you, and hopefully you will be able to see it. Can you see the presentation?
I can see it, but let's ask our followers if they can
Let's
see
make
that.
sure if they can see, like, there's a big logo with a lot of dots that are connected.
Okay.
It makes sense because I talk a lot about dots being connected.
Oh, there's many windows inside windows. Okay, let's ask the audience. Hello, friends. Can you see the presentation that Alexandra is sharing now? Please just comment the yes, the word yes.
Just to make sure that we're doing the right thing.
Amazing. They can see it.
Excellent, fantastic. So this was a small presentation. I wanted to share with you the personal branding and the importance of having an online presence and the importance of having a network, because the two together, they interact. And the stronger the online presence, the stronger the network, the more you can grow, the more you can evolve, and your circle will be much, much larger. But then when we are talking about digital communication specifically, I have around 3 or 4 ideas that I want to share with you. They are not very much technical, because the technicality is something that we can navigate through. So whether you are using social media or Zoom, it's kind of the same, because there's this cross-cutting approach to things. First of all,
Alexandra, sorry for interrupting, but I think it's I see comments that it's very small. Maybe.
Really?
Yes. Maybe it's the whole screen of you. Okay. Can you share it once again, please?
I will share it once again and see if it was working, because otherwise it would be a shame for you not to be able to see it in its entirety.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's working good now. Okay. You can.
Is it?
Yes.
Can you see the flip-flops?
Yes.
What color is the flip-flop?
Okay, let us see the comments. I won't tell them.
If you recognize the color, then you see the picture.
Yes.
What color?
It's blue, but no one commented, but I can see it.
Okay.
I think, okay. You can
Excellent.
go on. Okay.
So first of all is presentation. So when you are communicating digitally, you have a lot of people, you certainly have watched a few videos, the fun videos of people who forgot to wear their trousers, or who did something that they shouldn't have done while on video call. It's very important to be mindful, because I understand it's challenging, especially when you are working from home or you are video calling from home, because there's this narrowing down of spaces, which means that the personal space and the professional space become one. And so you could be doing official work with someone and be wearing your pajamas. As much as it could be relaxing, sometimes it sort of reduces some of your efficiency. So even if you're working from home, even if you have a digital meeting, the presentation is important. So flip-flops and swimming trunks, and they are probably not advisable. So the more professional you look, the more professional you feel, the better it is, whether it's a job interview or a work meeting or a conference that you are attending, especially if the video is on, and also to avoid any kind of mishaps that you wouldn't want to eventually see. So how you present yourself to yourself, first and foremost, and to others as well, is something that you definitely need to take into account when it comes to presentation and digital communication. The second point that I want to talk about is your energy level. Energy is very, very important in this case. Why? Because a lot of time, for instance, when I give classes and it's live, I have the entire space, I can go around, I can talk to people directly. The connection that I can have with people is different, and the level of energy is different, and I can move the way I want to. But if I'm talking to you now and we have this amazing meetup online, I cannot really go around and dance around in my house, because otherwise you will not be able to see me. So I'm sort of confined in one space. But that doesn't mean that my level of energy will go less. On the contrary, if anything, it means that I need to give more energy so that I can channel it down towards this little webcam here, and so that you can see me and I can communicate the things in the most efficient and the most powerful kind of way. So if you have X amount of energy offline, when you are communicating digitally, you have to have 2X the amount of energy that you usually have. And you have to channel it down. You have to focus that energy to that very tiny specific element, which is called the webcam. Because the people you are talking to, they might not be in the room. And sometimes it might be awkward, weird, because, hey, where is everybody? You're talking to, I don't know, it's a conference and you have 100 people in the room. Yes, but I'm alone in my home. It might sound awkward, and it might get you to give less energy because there's no one else, right? On the contrary, if anything, there are more people who can have access to you and your talk and your experience and all of that. And so it's much more important for you to channel that energy and think, okay, I'm talking to people. I'm not talking to a machine. I'm talking to people who are in front of me with whom I'm sharing something, whether I'm in a meeting or I'm in an interview or it's a networking event or a conference, whatever it is. Same goes for social media. The energy has to come out of you. It's not, and it has to be a positive energy, not the kind of energy that is, I'm bored, there's nothing to do, that the negative energy weighs on people. So avoid the negative energy and be as positive, as energetic as you possibly can. Written, video format, live, whatever that is. And then there's a story. A story is very important. I don't know about you, but kids, they love stories. Adults, they love stories. That's why authors write books. That's why choreographies in dance, for instance, they sort of create an experience or a storyline. This is what marketing does. A story is very important. So I want to ask you, what is your story? What is the story that you want to share online? You can use any technology you want. You can use pictures, you can use videos, you can use text, you can use any platform that you feel comfortable with and that is in line with your audience and with who you are. What is your story? What is it that you're trying to share with others? What is the message that you are going to send out to the world? And for the story to work well, it needs to have a purpose. The eye of intention that we talked about at the beginning. So what is your intention? What is your purpose? And what is that story that you have within you and that you want to share with the world and that you want to put online? And that is very important. If you don't have a story, then you're probably going to share the same things that everybody else is sharing. Which brings me to the very last point, so that we don't stay till 2 a.m. in the morning having discussion. It could be, it's your unique value proposition. So in any kind of workshop that I do, in any kind of talk that I have, I talk a lot about unique value proposition. And it's used a lot when it comes to business and business canvas model, and entrepreneurs are very much used to it. It's called UVP because it's too long, unique value proposition. But guess what? It also works for you because we all have something that distinguishes us, that makes us who we are, and that no one else can copy. No one else can have the same thing that you can have. And as much as this is important when you are having live discussion with someone, it's even more important when you're online. Why? Because if you're in a room, in a real room, and you have a meeting that has 10 people, you're competing against 9 people because you're the 10th person. But if this is happening online, you have much more than 10 people in the room. And so there's a lot more competition. So what is going to distinguish you? What is it that makes you special, that makes you different, that makes you unique? What is the value that you can offer to the person in front of you? Because in this genuine conversation that you are seeking to create between you and your network, there has to be some sort of value. This is how people are going to trust you. This is how you are going to gain the legitimacy and the trust of the people who are around you. And this is not meant in a way, okay, I'm going to give value just for them to give back to me or for me to win something. It has to be genuine because you really care about the people who are with you. You really care about that job. You really care about that business opportunity. You really care about your customer, about your client. And it's from that sense of care and from the sense of, okay, I have something that no one else has, that you can build strong connections. And at the end of the day, if we do not use all the technologies and all the tools that we have and all the opportunities that are around us, if we do not use this to build strong connections, to build powerful connections, then what are we doing it for? If I'm not capable of connecting with you, and if I'm not capable of sharing with you the things that matter to me, then why am I doing it in the first place? So value is important, uniqueness is crucial. You have to find your unique value proposition. And now, I don't know, Nawar, if you have something else that you wanted to talk about. I think it should be time for Q&As. But before we move to Q&A and get to the questions, I want to ask you a question. How can you improve?
Okay.
What are the things that you can do and that would allow you to shift your mindset, to shift your focus, your intention, to effectively communicate the things that matter to you? And that's it.
Okay, I would say that maybe Techfugees Lebanon chapter can say that. I can answer that question because they know me very well. I'm going to speak about myself a little bit, and maybe it's a self-branding here. I'm just working with Techfugees as a volunteer in communication departments, and once I called the leader, the chapter leader, I told him that I want to work in this specific department. I want to work in communications department. I want to do that and this. I put it the whole plan. And because I'm a volunteer, of course, always non-governmental organizations will help you to improve yourselves and to lead you to the right direction. So I became more professional now with communications. I'm always working now with this meetup series with the team, of course. We are doing everything together. For example, now I got the chance to tell you that I'm Spark alumni member of board of members. And I'm working with Techfugees as a volunteer in communication. So I'm doing the branding for myself, and I'm using all that social media vehicles and channels. Everything I'm sharing, and I'm so active on it. I have a small business. I'm doing that, also sharing and including to groups and talk about myself and tell people, okay, you can go to Google and put my name and find who am I and what I do. So what I just want to mention that I learned all of that because of Alexandra. I attended with her for many sessions, workshops. So she was the person who got to this. So thank you, Alexandra, from here, from Techfugees, and can move now to questions and answers.
Thank you, Nawar, for being an awesome, awesome student at the time. She'd come even after the session to ask me questions. And when you see that kind of determination and that kind of energy, so she doesn't take it for granted, and she doesn't just stop, okay, I got it, and that's it. No, she wants to take it a step forward. And this completely transforms the engagement and the benefit that you can take from an experience. And it also transforms the way the other person is looking at you, because I have so much respect for what you have done and for how you took all that knowledge and transformed it into all of the things that you're doing now.
I can add something. You told me about it before. If you want something from someone and you know that he's an expert and he's so professional and you need to know more about a specific thing, and you know that he's or she is an expert for this thing that you need to know more about, just go directly. Make some research about that BIO, about him or herself, what they working for, what they do, who they are, for what things they do work, and contact them directly. But make your communicate with them more professional than just like I just want to say, don't contact them by using social media. Go directly to the professional mails. Contact them via email or something like that, and be more professional. Take courses about how to communicate by using emails. I just want to say that. I'm sorry for taking a small part from questions and answers. I felt that I have to say that. Okay, let's go through questions and answers. We have a question from Odette Saab. Oh, thank you, Harut. I was looking for it. Odette Saab, can you talk about digital communications for online sales?
Okay, so online sales, it has a specific purpose. The purpose is to have the sales. So it's very important when you are communicating digitally about it to have the strategy that is laid out and made obvious to you. So it's sort of a funnel. I'm going to lead them to this specific point, which is going to get them to that specific place or market and all of that. So strategy and funnel is something that is very, very important so that you can reach your objective, which is making sales. Now, when it comes to the post, it has to be attractive in and of itself. So it's an art in and of itself. So how you lay out the post in a way that is minimalist, but in the same time attractive. And then there's the copy that you are using for social media, essentially, which is one part of the funnel that you are going to use. And have an attractive copy that is straight to the point, that makes the person know that, okay, this is you who I'm talking with. And that has a very strong call for action so that people would be curious and would want to know more about this product or service that you are trying to offer. And then when you have this clarity of the funnel that leads you from point A to point B to point C, which is the objective of making the final sale, and these complement each other. So there's strategy, there's the funnel, there's also the way you present things visually, but also text from the perspective of the text, the kind of message that you are sending. And I want to add to that something that we've previously discussed, which is the genuine aspect. People trust a lot more someone who is genuine, who is authentic, rather than someone who just wants to do sales. Why do you want to do sales? Is there a higher objective, a higher goal, a higher sense of service, a higher value that you are offering? And you have to make that obvious so that people would actually want to engage with you. I don't know, does it make sense? Is there any clarification that you need?
Okay, we'll go through questions from Abdullah Amsha. Where do we have opportunities to volunteer? Good question.
Everywhere.
Where do we have opportunities?
Anywhere.
Exactly, everywhere.
Anywhere.
No one will say no for free workers.
Come to us. Come to Noor and to Techfugees. No, seriously now. Wherever you're living, if you look around you, perhaps you have communities who are searching for volunteers. If you go online on Facebook, there are a lot of people who are trying to support other individuals from less fortunate backgrounds for food, for other reasons when it comes to COVID-19. There are international organizations with whom you can volunteer with. And sometimes it can be overwhelming. I understand this question because there are so many opportunities that you might not know where to start. And so I would suggest start with something that you care for. If it's a specific cause, a specific field that you're interested in, something that perhaps is connected to your field of expertise, I don't know, what do you work, what do you study? That could be a good lead, or something that you're passionate about, and that if you engage with, it would really sort of give you all the energy that you need and that you want. So start with that and look around you, ask, what are the organizations locally, regionally, internationally? And since everything's happening digitally, you can easily go international. What are these spaces that are working on these issues? And how can I help them? And then reach out to them. Even if they don't have a call for volunteer, reach out to them. Tell them, okay, I'm studying this, or I have an expertise in that, and I would love to support you in this and this and that. And that would work. That would work. In the weekend, I'm volunteering with very far from Lebanon, actually, is with Oxford Policy Hack. So it's a policy hack over the weekend. It's a hackathon, but for policy making, for the post-COVIDian era. So everything that is going to happen after COVID-19. And so what happened is that through a contact of mine, power of network, through a contact of mine, who's living in Great Britain at the present moment, I saw that there's this window of opportunity. It's perfectly aligned with my work as a mentor, as a trainer, as sometimes as a judge for entrepreneurship, hackathon, and innovation hubs. And then I told them that I want to support them, and they accepted. And now I'm volunteering with them over the weekend. So there are multiple ways. Start with the things that you're passionate about. That would be my advice.
Just want to say I'm an example here. I'm working as a volunteer for 4 NGOs in communication department. And I'm looking forward to work in maybe programs department. Who knows? Okay, we have another question from Adib Qima. What I have to focus in my story? What I have to focus in my story?
Okay, that's actually a very good question. It's not something that is standardized, so I cannot tell you, Adib, you have to focus on this specific aspect. A story is personal. It's something that that comes from you and that tells something about you. So it really depends on your goal, on your purpose, on your intention. And once you have that sorted out, once you know what your goal is, you would be able to channel that story into a specific focus. So having a context, having an objective is something that is very important. Now, 2 is your unique value proposition. So when you're telling your story, you need to show what is it that makes you special. So this, you can take it from that angle. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by to focus on in terms of story. If you can provide a bit more clarity over your interpretation of focus, perhaps I can better answer the question.
Okay, we have another question also from Adib. What the keyword it's important to put in the story? The keywords.
Again, what kind of story is it? Because one story would completely differ from another person's story. So it's not SEO, it's not search engine optimization. It's something that is highly personal and that is coming from you. So again, it depends on your story. If it's a story that is related to a specific field or sector, then perhaps we need to use the keywords that are related to that specific field or sector. If it's a story that is communicating a feeling or an emotion, if you're happy about something, you're excited about something, you're disappointed, and you are sharing, for instance, a story of redemption, so how you went from negative into positive, then you have to show this contrast in the keywords that you are using. If it's so it really depends on the kind of story that you're writing. It has to be relevant to the focus and to the objective that you have set out.
Okay, I think we don't have more questions. If you have more questions, we still have 5 minutes, about 5 minutes to talk. I just want to mention something to Abdullah because I can feel that there is a lot of negative feelings with him. Abdullah, you need to go, just like what Alexandra said, to do the positive, motivate your mindset, because I went through the same situation, believe me. I'm just maybe because I met Alexandra and so many experts and advisors who leads me to be who I am today. You need just to looking around you to the right people, and believe me, all people around would love to help. Okay.
I think there's another question.
I think we have another question from outside of the place here. If I'm still student with no work experience, should I have LinkedIn profile?
Yes, because a LinkedIn profile is not just about your work experience. And if you're a student, it doesn't mean that you don't have experience. You might not have a professional work experience, but the clubs that you are in at university, the projects that you are starting out with your teammates and that could potentially have an impact within university or outside, the competitions that you are participating in, whether they are entrepreneurial or non-entrepreneurial, if you are writing posts online and you have your own blog. So there is a million different opportunities that you can have and you can do outside the framework of a formal professional work experience. And again, the more you do, the more you can do, and the more you have to show. being a university student is in no way the only thing that you have to do. There are so many other things that you can do, and you can add them on LinkedIn. And yeah, of course, naturally.
And people will notice that how you improve yourself by LinkedIn. We have another question from Odette Saab. How to know if my communication is effective in terms of online sales?
I have one word for you. Test, 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 test. And I'm not testing my voice. There's no mic around me. You just have to test things. If you are posting, if it's an ad, you can have an A/B testing. So you put one ad or one post, and then the next day at the same time you put a similar but not so similar post with certain differences, because you need to test for a different copy or a different image, and then you can see the results. Where did I get more interaction, more engagement for the people? If you have a funnel and you're evaluating the sales that you're getting, it's the same thing. So the only way you can do that is through iteration. You have to iterate. You have to try to test. When you fail, you have to try again to test again, and so on and so forth, and then compare. So you have to analyze. You have to test, and then you have to analyze the results of those testings so that you know which one is more effective.
Okay, I will just mention a comment here. From Anas Jamous, he said, in small words, keep yourself busy. Do you agree with him or not?
I wouldn't say busy, I would say productive, because you can be busy, extremely busy, but not be productive. You can go from one place to another and from one thing to another, but not give substantial results. So it's, yes, you have to be active, but you have to also be mindful about the active part and actually produce something at the end of the day, at the end of the working session, whatever it is. So keep yourself, I would say, keep yourself productive rather than busy.
Okay, then I think that's all for tonight. I know we need more than one session, Alexandra, to talk more about communications, but I recommend our audience to follow Alexandra's page, which is PersEd, and to know more about communications and self-branding and so on. So I just want to thank you, Alexandra. Thank you so much for being kind and joining us for tonight. Honestly, I'm speechless. I'm speechless. Really, thank you for everything.
Thank
Not
you.
for only that, for this session only.
Thank you so much, Nawar. First of all, for being awesome and for being so active and productive. Thank you for allowing me to join you in this meetup for Techfugees and giving me the opportunity to virtually meet you all. I'd also want to invite you to visit PersEdblog.com if you allow me to share with them, because what we do at PersEd every week is that we send a weekly digest every Wednesday morning. And the idea behind the weekly digest is to help individuals like you improve themselves personally, academically, and professionally. In other words, they received small pieces of advice that would allow them to set better goals, to reduce the level of anxiety, to think differently about certain things, to be able to challenge themselves. They will receive hacks on how they can be more productive, more active, more efficient. And it's all directed towards the idea of personal development and how we can improve ourselves so that we can take the most out of it. So I shared a small screen with you for the links. We're also active on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So if you'd like to join the community, you're more than welcome. If you have any question, also feel free to send them through these different social spaces. If you have a need for a bit of information, for a bit of inspiration, also feel free to join. I will later on drop in the link of the newsletter where you can subscribe in the chat box or in the comment box on Facebook under the live recording of the session. This way you can go to the link and get every single dose of inspiration, of information that you need to be who you are and all you can possibly become.
Thank you so much, Alexandra. I'm so glad to have you tonight. Thank you so much. And of course, we'll catch you maybe later for more contribution. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.